Welcome to On The Bit. I'm Dave from Dream Thoroughbreds, and with me is Lenny from Bluegrass Bloodstock. How are you, Lenny?
Great, Dave. Going good.
It's a big week last weekend with the Tigers winning the premiership. It's been crazy in Melbourne all week, and this really, for us, kicks off the spring carnival for us this weekend, the Turnbull Stakes Day at Flemington. That's really the key for no more footy and racing right through to mid-November and further on. So the first one we've got to deal with, mate, not much of a race for us to really talk about, but the Group 1 $500,000 Turnbull Stakes over 2,000 at weight for age. Not much really to say in this race, mate, but we go there on Saturday to watch probably the best horse in the world at the moment, and that's Winx. And she's got
Amy's created a bit of a talk.
Yeah, Amy Johnson's got
good on her. She's done well for her owners.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to cause too much problem to Winx anyway, because I don't think they should be anywhere near it.
No.
But Winx looks like a standout in this race. Daylight the second, which is probably Hermidor, and then probably
that's right.
Daylight the third, really. So, but it'd be great to go there. I think there'll be a big crowd there on Saturday to watch her win her 21st race in a row before she hits the Cox Plate in a few more weeks' time, and that'll be another big one to look out for. Sure, she'll have a few more harder opposition to beat in the Cox Plate. We'll talk about that in a couple of weeks. So the main sort of group I'm going to talk about is in Sydney, the $500,000 Spring Champion Stakes for 3-year-olds, set weights over 2,000 metres, and a real good lead up for the upcoming Victoria Derby. So who do you like in the Spring Champion, mate?
The son of High Shap, Dave. We love our High Shaps.
We do love our High Shaps. Not many of them around anymore.
No, they're not. Ace High, he led and controlled the race in the Gloaming Stakes, and pretty much meets a similar bunch that he met last time at the set weights. I think the step up to the 2000's going to be ideal, and he's drawn to lead again and control the race. And the set weights, those horses usually continue on their merry way. So
they do in these 3-year-old races, these set weight races. They're not hard to sort of delve through the form. I agree. I thought Ace High, the form out of the Gloaming a couple of weeks ago is the form, led all the way in that race. Prior to that, he ran midfield a couple of times. That was because he was just getting up in distance, I thought. And once he got to the 1800, as you said, being a son of High Shap, that's when it sort of kicked in, his pedigree, and I think the 2,000 metres will actually suit him even more. He looks the likely leader. I don't think he'll get too much hassle up in front. He goes around $3.55, but I actually thought it was a really nice price considering his form line compared to his rivals. So I thought he was hard to go past, and he's on the bit. Stable news, Lenny. How'd your runners go last weekend, mate?
Runners went alright. What would we have?
Count Da Vinci ran.
Count Da Vinci ran at Caulfield. He ran a good race, I thought. In fourth, and obviously the Dream horse, Mr. Sneaky. Jeez, look, the winner. Every time you watch it looked like he was going to get his maiden Group 1, but
I've watched it a number of times, mate.
Yeah, awesome run. I think there's one there around the corner for him. So obviously Mr. So-and-so, his 3/4 brother, ran really well during the week, so that was great to see. Bluegrass colours go around at Morphettville this weekend, so hopefully we've got a double a couple of weekends ago, so Mossendale goes back there again, meeting a similar bunch, and Pasito resumes for Tony McAvoy, and he's going along pretty well.
Had good luck in Adelaide recently.
Yeah, it's been good. And a Savabeel horse, Stream Alliance, who I think is pretty progressive, goes around in a maiden at Seymour on Sunday. And Dreamer got a few horses going around as well, so we've got a pretty busy weekend.
We've got Columbia running at Seymour on Sunday in a 58. He's got T.O. Nugent on board, which is the apprentice for Aaron Purcell at Caulfield. He claims 4, so we're getting actually under the... he's only had a handful of rides, but he's done a lot of track work. He knows the horse quite well, actually. He's more of a mature apprentice, got a good head on his shoulders. With the 4 kilos, they were coming under the minimum, so I think he's really well placed there, even though he's drawn out slightly. and that Seymour track had a few problems on it last time they raced there, so you want to race on the pace. We've got Cornelia in at Motoa on Saturday. She's looking to break her maiden. We may actually accept for Mornington on Tuesday tomorrow morning, so just need to see if she goes around. She may get scratched and go to Mornington on Tuesday. That Motoa maiden actually is quite a tough race. It's funny now, the maidens are so hard to get into. Everyone's going there to try and get a soft kill. We've got Splitter going around tomorrow at Ipswich. She was a beaten favourite last start, but she has definitely improved off her first up run. She's got the blinkers on. She's got the Tony Golan's appearance on her. Zoe White, who rides Splitter all in her track work as well. Goes really good for Zoe apparently. So she's going to start a short price favourite again tomorrow, and she really does look hard to beat. She's drawn a barrier finally. She's been drawn out. She's in barrier 5, so she'll sit fairly handy. Not trying to lead, we just want to take a sit, but hoping to break her maiden tomorrow and then go on to better things in Brisbane. As you said, Mr. Sneaky ran not an unlucky second. It was a bold second. He was there to win the race. The race just changed complex. The last 50 metres he got run over by his stablemate. But he was a huge run. He's going to the Toorak next Saturday, so we'll talk about that next week. And Mr. So-and-so ran on Wednesday at Geelong. His closing sectionals were one of the best of the day actually. He got back in a slowly run race and finished hard. Only got beat a long neck by the favourite who was coasting in front. So really looking forward to him in a couple of weeks' time. Should be able to break his maiden. Best on breeding, Lenny. Who's your best on breeding this weekend, mate?
Actually, a horse that we were just speaking about before, Casito in Adelaide. Dave, staying that, I really like Nakoni, and he had some issues that I don't know if he hurt himself but he had no yearlings basically last year, but very, very little numbers on the ground, and this guy's out of a Commands mare in Littoral, so he's the best on breeding this weekend.
Value bets for me, one value bet, Flemington Race 8, number 1, Prompt Response. Really like this mare, she's ultra consistent. She was in need of that run first up at Caulfield. It was a very strong race. The race that Savannah Aramore won, Legless Verve was in it, Ravi was in it. So it was a really strong form line. I think she'll be far. She wasn't beaten far that day, and I think the rise to 1400 is in her favour on Saturday. She's drawn a nice barrier to be sitting right behind the leaders. And she'll be in a good spot at the 200 when the whips start cracking, and a few of her rivals are likely to get back in that race and try and make ground. I just thought she'd be in the right spot. She's $8 each way. Can't see her missing a place, and I thought she was the horse to beat, so she's great value and on the bit. Who's your on the bit special for the weekend, Lenny?
Ramley. Up and rolling, Dave. Race 2. He was the infamous horse that Glenn Schofield should have got a holiday for, but didn't. He's a pretty promising son of Castledale from New Zealand in the Wally Yard, and last start he was badly held up, and he didn't get the chocolates, but if he had got out he would have, and they were going to the Metropolitan with him. The horse that beat him last time, he meets a kilo and a half better in Elwood, and it's only a field of 4, and you can get I think $1.95 when I last checked is the best price about him in the field of 4, but he should just win, and I think you can just mould him up with, you can throw Winks in, you can throw Pasito in if you want, you can throw whoever.
Well, we know on the bit's not scripted, because this will be interesting, these on the bit specials, but my special is Flemington, race 4, Spieth. I thought this horse has a real big race in him one day. He lines up here in a Group 2 Gill Guy with a view towards the Darley at the end of the Flemington Carnival. He's beaten by your horse Malaguera last year in the Darley down the straight over the same track and distance. I just think he meets a lot weaker field here on Saturday. He's missing the Everest next week to prepare for the Darley, and I just thought this was a perfect stepping stone for him to going towards that race later on in the Carnival. His first up runs was huge, I thought, over 1,000 metres, getting beat by Red Zell, who is in the Everest next week. I just thought it showed, excuse me, that he was looking for 1,200 metres the way he powered home. I thought he was a moral personally at $2.60, and I thought he was an on the bit special. But I'm assuming you don't agree with me, Len.
No. had to find something to lay, so I thought I'd lay him. I just, oh well, his trainer gets on and carries on a bit, so probably.
He cries a lot, the trainer.
He does cry a lot.
I was nearly crying last week with Mr. Steve hit the front and got beat.
Yeah, no, he's a pretty good horse, Spieth. I watched him first up, and Red Zell controlled that race. He did a pretty good job to get home, but I just think he's had 6 or 7 runs without winning. He's been in tough fields, but there's a couple there, like the quarterback and Andrew Noblet's horse that won a Group 1
edition.
Yeah, they're no walkovers, and he's got to put his head out and win the race, and he always finds some sort of excuse. So, yeah.
Well, I'm off the bit with your special, mate. Up and rolling in Randwick race 2. He got beat last start at $1.80 favourite. I was on him. I'm still hurting. I know he meets him slightly better on weights, as you mentioned. But I thought this was actually a smart sort of handy field, even though it was only 4. Waller's got 3 runners in it, and Waller tends to get his shortest price horse beat in these races. Not saying there's anything in that, but it just happens to be the case most often. He's actually $1.75 at the last look on those odds. I'm just happy to risk him. I thought Allwood, who beat him, I thought quite comfortably last start, could beat him again, and there's a couple in there. Valadero I thought was a chance as well up in distance, so he's off the bit for mine. So we'll see if Lenny and I are alright over the weekend. It's a pretty thin weekend, but next week's Caulfield Guineas Day and Everest. It's a big weekend, so we'll catch you next week. Good luck.
Cheers.